adaptations from Goldcoin United now on the red side this game. Team EnVy will be on the blue side. They've banned out pretty much the same things, though, almost every single game. Vladimir, Shen, the Ashe, although the Shen was missed out in that last ban where they did not have a ban in game number 3. And Goldcoin United now, the last response is on them. Do they ban out the Camille? Do they give it over to Seraph? Do they ban out one of the junglers, potentially, that Lyra can snap away?
They go with the Graves ban now, not wanting to give that one available. We saw that Team EnVy was basically first picking Varus every time around. Now without that available, they're concerned about the Graves first pick, so they ban that one as well. And instead, Team EnVy take Caitlyn, a very strong lane bully champion. So even though you ban out the Varus, Team EnVy might run the same comp here with Zyra Caitlyn, still an extremely strong, annoying poke lane. Doesn't quite have the level 6 all-in that we saw them abusing with the Varus and Zyra.
It also cuts into the fact that that's what MASH is playing when they pick the Varus, is he's taking the Caitlyn. When they did not take an early game marksman, they wound up falling down into the Lucian pick, but Goldcoin United with the adaptation here steal the Zyra away from that bottom lane duo combination, so the Caitlyn will no longer have that strong pressure. There are still a lot of supports left on the table, as none of them have been banned away in this first ban phase. We've seen Malzahar banned away, we've seen Lugu left open quite a lot, and it will look like Santorin goes to Rengar as his jungler of choice, which has been left open this entire time, just not prioritized.
I love best of 5 Sam, and I especially love them in the 10-ban system. You get to see over the course of a series what meta starts to adapt. Varus and Zyra become so dominant in this situation that Goldcoin bans one and picks the other one away from Team EnVy, not knowing how to deal with it, being scared of just giving them a third time around and throwing a new potential solution at it, not wanting to give them the bot lane they've basically been running for 2 days straight. And they also grabbed the Rengar, a different look for Santorin here, not on the Graves, was not finding success with it, and did not want to chance it, you know, giving it over to Lyra and seeing another hard carry performance out of him.
Well, EnVy have snatched up the Karma, and you would think that would be a support pickup. You have to remember, when Caitlyn is on Team EnVy, they do wind up running with more of the protect the champion. Protect the Apollo composition.
There you go.
That's the marksman with their team, their bot laner, where they potentially could be running that Karma mid lane as a secondary shielding and utility enchanter, but they do wind up going for the Camille pickup for Seraph too, so that could prompt a Rumble pick here from the first phase from Goldcoin United. If they do not, they threaten that being banned away, but it is going to be the Renekton instead of the Rumble, so this time it's solo on the Renekton, the opposite side of this match.
I like this a little bit more, not opting for the complete skill versus skill matchup. We saw a pretty scary performance out of Seraph's Camille against the Rumble in game 1. They did lose that game, but it was off the back of more macro play than Seraph's split push failing. It was starting to come online right when they kind of lost that game. So GCU doesn't want to risk that. They take a more early game focused team. EnVy has smashed them in the first 20 minutes of the game, 2 games in a row, and so they're focused on stabilizing that part of their game.
We saw the Elise hover before the Camille was locked in, so Elise and Lee Sin will be the bans from Goldcoin United. Continue to target down on the bot lane pool. Jhin and Ezreal being banned away. Mash with a smirk on his face knows that he's being targeted in the second ban phase. Still has the potential to pick up the Lucian that we saw in game number 2, but it will be the Ahri being picked up here for Phoenix. We saw him in the Ahri versus Syndra matchup. Not getting the better deal of that one, and we're going to see a run back here in game number 4.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at the double jungle ban thrown EnVy's way. I mean, we know Lyra's gonna perform on basically whatever you give him. The Kha'Zix is gonna be left up. We saw him have a great game on Kha'Zix in game 2, I believe it was. So I'm surprised to see Goldcoin United go for that one again. Holy crap, we got a Jinx lock in as well.
Oh,
stop my train of thought. We got something different in the bot lane.
I love this pickup. Jinx in the bottom lane. A Jinx and Zyra lane has a lot of damage potential, and while Jinx may not be the safest laner in the world, she can potentially match the range of Caitlyn early game because of her rocket form, but...
Safest laner? I'm scared about mid-late game. You're gonna have a Kha'Zix and Camille jumping on your face, and your team comp has 0 peel, and you're playing Jinx? It's a little scary. You
do have 0 peel. You have double exhaust, though. Mad Life's taking it as is Phoenix from the mid lane matchup, but in the late game, if you are at that point with Jinx, you can just melt through absolutely everybody, considering there is no tanky frontline from EnVy this game, and Goldcoin United has the pseudo-tanks in the Renekton and the Rengar. I mean, this does screen to me as a very potential weak point in the later stages of the game, but also a very, very big strength that they haven't necessarily had on their team.
It's going to come down to execution. If you're Camille and Kha'Zix find flanks and opportunities onto the Jinx, there's not really anything available on the side of GCU to keep her alive, but if they flub those engages and she gets away, she has huge reset potential given the fact that Team EnVy does not have a tank front line. She does have to be careful running forward in case she eats a Cinder Stun or something like that, but like I was saying, I'm surprised GCU elected for the double jungle ban instead of throwing one at the Syndra. You know that that is Ninja's preferred counter pick on the Ahri. You're going to first pick the Ahri. You could have banned away a potential counter after the Syndra ban. Maybe they instead go with a Ahri ban, and then you can't get the Ahri, so you need to leave his counter up so you don't get counter banned. Those are some situations that crop up, but what ends up happening is Mash's champ pool gets completely pinched, and now we see him on the Jinx.
Well, it's game number 4. One more win here. It means EnVy makes it back into their NALCS position. Goldcoin United have to win 2 more games in order to try to get promoted through.
I'm not one to usually talk about skins. Everyone knows.
Oh, I know that.
I am brain dead about skins. No idea what they're called, no idea what they do. But I do know this one. We got the Star Guardian Lux skin available. Or
Guardian Lux.
See, that's what I mean. Star Guardian, Jinx. They're all Star Guardians. They're the same champion at that point.
You really don't know anything about skins. Here, I thought you've been trolling me this entire time with your lobster fisherman Braum talk.
I still think that's a great skin, by the way.
What's Ahri's skin?
I don't know. Is she a maid or something?
Schoolgirl?
Schoolgirl.
There you go. It's the Academy Ahri skin.
There you go.
All right, you get half credit for that one. But this Mash on Jinx pickup, first off, it's got me excited because I love Jinx, my favorite champion. So I'm really hoping that Mash is able to do something with this pick. But as you did mention, very unsafe lane phase, especially into the Caitlyn Karma bully lane matchup. But also the late game potential for this Jinx is massive, but it's also very scary when you have stun, delete button, Camille, everything to pretty much just kill you.
Yeah, I mean, either way, this is going to be an explosive matchup centered around that Jinx pick a little bit. Either she's going to be getting exploded at the start of team fights, or she's going to be resetting like crazy, most likely. So we'll have to see what happens. Of course, most of these games are being decided in the early game. It might be over before we even get to that point with how explosive EnVy has been playing these last 2 games.
Well, both junglers going to be starting on their red sides of the jungle. Santorin going for a start over by his own Raptor camp, so he's not going to be going for any sort of cheeky invades right now. The bottom side of the match is going to be started up by Lyra and KAZix on his own Raptor camp, so both of them going for the red buff start. As you mentioned, this matchup between these 2 junglers has been extremely pivotal, and how fitting that we have the Hunter versus Hunter matchup, the Rengar versus KAZix, in a game number 4, which is a must-win for GCU if they want to prolong this to a best-of-5, full 5-game series.
And I like the team comp for the most part that they drafted to do it. I'm still a little suspect on that Jinx pick, but I do like the Renekton for solo. He had a good game last game. We see GCU still the heavy favorites in the fan vote.
They keep losing 2% every time we see this one, from 82 to 80 to 78, but now here, hitting level 2 extremely early on, getting aggressive. Of course, you have the Zyra and the Jinx lane here, the Chompers, and the Zyra roots can combo together quite effectively. But Apollo able to get himself out of that sticky situation. But they're being pushed in extremely early on here from this early lane aggression.
Right, you saw GCU's bot lane able to grab the level 2 first, shove out EnVy's bot lane a little bit. They also burned the Ignite there. Not a massive advantage gain. Does force the pot out of Apollo, but he's mostly healed back up to full. Lyra now on the top side, looking like he's going to take a blast cone over. Gonna look for this gank onto Solo, excuse me, but instantly backs away.
Yep. Solo's gotten his hands on this Renekton this time around. During the Challenger Series, Solo was known for getting lane advantages, whether it was with the help of Santorin or just by himself, being very aggressive on this Renekton pick, shoving up the lane, but then roaming down towards the mid lane, trying to transition advantages onto Phoenix, much like you see Nautilus picks utilize in the top lane.
Right, I mean, I think that's something that I like more for the side of GCU is having that kind of stable top laner that you don't need to worry about getting snowballed on. It hasn't been that bad necessarily for GCU. I don't think that's the problem with the series, is the fact that, oh my god, Solo keeps dying and getting snowballed on. I think you have to look at what's been happening with the mid lane, the jungle, and even the bot lane to an extent. But even still, I do like seeing him on this champion who has the ability to fight Seraph early on and can kind of hold him down.
Oh, Seraph gonna wind up going back and buying a second Doran's Blade and a control ward for himself. Immediately uses the teleport to get back to lane.
Santorin and Lyra on opposite sides here.
Yeah, Lyra's a little bit stuck out in the Dragon Pit. Does wind up leaping over, but Santorin didn't even know he was there. He's looking for Ninja instead. Going to tag him with the savagery, bolos him up. Has to burn the flash from Ninja there. Did not want to get charmed up there by Phoenix.
And EnVy did not seem like they had a clue. Santorin was over the wall there. They had him kind of pincered, actually. Lyra jumps over, though, and that gives the angle to Santorin to go open up onto Ninja, who is in the river there.
Oh, Mash gonna step on a trap. Takes a lot of damage there. Jinx, not the tankiest champion. Extremely, extremely squishy marksman in the bottom lane, and Apollo and Hakuo double Q damage coming out from Karma Caitlyn, forcing the Jinx actually to recall as Mad Life going to try to hold the wave himself.
Grabs the early Vamp Scepter, going to be trying to get some extra sustain in this lane early on. Will most likely be going the Blade of the Rune King first build that we tend to see on a lot of AD carries now, not just the attack speed dueling ones.
Yeah, Blade of the Rune King into Renon's Hurricane. Most likely the build that Jinx is going for. I'm really interested to see where you go from that, but like you said, Mark, if the game goes the way that it has so far for game 2 and 3 from Envy, we might not get to the point where you get to see a late game Jinx popping off.
Nope, we have not seen too many late games this series. And I think, based off how this game started, though, much better for GCU. Lyra's first couple attempts were sniffed out, not able to find an opportunity. They also are able to force the flash on Ninja pre-6. And now that Phoenix is getting closer to 6, he might find an opportunity to open up onto him, especially with Santorin hit 6. We do see the cleanse on Ninja, so he has one defensive tool still available to him, but if the charm lands, he cleanses that, there's a bowl right after, it's not going to be too easy for him to live.
The chain CC, one of the worst enemies of the cleanse summoner spell. You can get rid of one, can't necessarily get rid of them all though. Phoenix is down for the exhaust in this mid lane matchup though. We did see him playing rather aggressively, but while he was able to exhaust out the trade damage coming out from Ninja and the Unleashed power at level 6, he wasn't able to really seal the deal on a lot of these kills that he might have potentially gotten with his Ignite. Top side of the map now, Solo and Seraph seem to be our focus as Lyra was clearing out the Scuttle Crab in the river. Might be trying to make another gank on the top lane, but at the same time, as soon as Phoenix gets level 6, he goes in. First blood picked up for him while there's trying to be a trade kill on the top side, but Solo slices and dices, blocks up Lyra and Seraph in a 2v1 situation. Solo gets the kill.
Huge play by Solo there, able to flash into the brush while Lyra was tanking the minion autos, gives him enough time to get another auto attack off there, picks up a kill in the 2v1, and then I was talking about needing 6. Santorin didn't even wait for it. I believe he had a nice flash to dodge out on the stun that came in, and Phoenix started that all off, landing a charm this time around. That was something that held him down in the last time he played this matchup, was the fact that whenever he went aggressive, the charms were going wide.
As you can see, a quick replay of this one. Phoenix hits level 6, Santorin is waiting in the wings, and as soon as Phoenix knows that these abilities are down from Ninja, he dashes forward, dodges out on the spear.
Ninja just playing way too aggressive here. You know your jungler's on the top side making a play. You're down a level to an extremely aggressive champion in Ahri. No reason to walk up there and really try and contest that wave for your 6. And then here on the top side, you see Solo. Good job fighting, staying alive there. And big misplay by Ninja there, opening himself up to a potential gank when he knows his jungler is not around at all to punish that. And Santorin and Phoenix combined for a kill. They also got the first blood there, so Phoenix finally in a position to pop off potentially and take over this game.
At the same time, Solo getting a trade kill, or not even a trade kill, getting the only kill in a 1v2 situation where he gets ganked. Also gets the flash out of Lyra, so early game Lyra, not the same as it has been so far in this series. Without that summoner spell of flash, might be a little bit more difficult for him to gain some traction. Whereas on the opposite side, his opponent in Santorin has already gotten a gank assist on first blood in the mid lane. Gone back, picked up pieces for his warrior enchantment. Has the tracker's knife fully finished. Matching that actually of Lyra, but he's got some boots and some extra vision control and a control ward in his inventory over his jungle opponent.
And while we're talking about all this great stuff happening in the top and mid lane and jungle for GCU, you look down the bot side and you see a 30 CS deficit for this Jinx early on. Not having a good time at all.
Life is difficult for a Jinx in a Caitlyn Karma lane. Actually, life is difficult for a lot of AD carries in a Caitlyn Karma lane.
Yeah, not many champions are happy to be against Caitlyn Karma. Jinx in particular, you see getting totally zoned away from this wave. It is the small saving grace right now on the side of Envy. Goal leads up to 1,000, excuse me. It could be a lot higher if they did not have that 30 CS advantage.
Gold United advantages on opposite sides of the map from this bottom lane. The Team Envy. A lot of the times the advantages have been coming through them from Lyra. Their bottom lane has kind of been a very stable point for their team, although those advantages in game number 3 were gained from a visit gank from Lyra that they were able to abuse. This time having to do it pretty much on their own and succeeding so far. Ace in the hole actually going to wind up landing. Mash gets that blocked out by Mad Life. Saw a little bit of trade going down in the mid lane too as Phoenix and Ninja traded some blows back and forth. Phoenix with a blue buff for himself. Ninja not with his. So Phoenix going to get a little bit of the shove early on, has that Spirit Rush available, and immediately dips down towards the bottom lane.
Right, Phoenix and Santorin combined together to steal away Ninja's blue buff there, limiting the ability of Ninja to match the push. And the problem is this bot lane is getting so bad for GCU. It's going to start pulling down a lot of focus here. Santorin's still making his way up to the top side, but Phoenix was down the bot lane trying to get some space for his bot lane to work.
Same time, Santorin on this top side with Solo. Looks like they might try to brute force down the first tower of this game. Seraph pretty much all by his lonesome as Lyra's on the bottom side of the map, so stun under the tower there from Solo as he slices his way out of that one. Seraph going to be holding on to this wave for a little bit of time, but Lyra knows that Santorin's on the top side of the map. Put some vision down over by the blue buff area. Santorin, though, and Solo just going to force Seraph away from this top lane tower. Right,
there was that one ward on the Gromp of GCU. Santorin was recalling to react to what was going on in the bot lane. Did not want to force around the top since they did not know where Lyra was. But once he saw Lyra there, he knows that they can actually get this turret first, so they go for that first circle. Now Lyra caught a little bit on the Gromp.
Ooh, he's gonna get the Super Mega Death Rocket. The ticking down is not going to wind up getting the kill. No Ignite used by Mad Life. Lost vision over the wall, but Lyra getting chunked out just for a Gromp trade for a tower.
That was actually a pretty smart play by GCU. I like the decision there by Santorin to cancel his recall and pressure around that top side to make sure that he secures that first turret blood bonus. Now the bot lane doing a little bit better job hanging on now.
Apollo walks into some flame chompers, but not going to get traded upon with a ton of damage. Top side of the map now, that means, of course, Solo getting some solo gold for himself. A 1.6k gold advantage for the Renekton over the Camille in that lane matchup. Taking up a large majority of the lead the Gold Coin United has accrued in this early game already. 2 kills to 0. They've gotten the first tower of the game. They have CS deficits, however, on the bottom side of the map. As now we see Seraph struggling to go toe-to-toe against Solo as he's picked up the early pair of Ninja Tabu and Phoenix, trying to equate some of these losses out in the bottom lane. Immediately exhausted, trade back and forth. The flash forward from Mash puts the chompers down behind Apollo. He has to try to run away. Mad Life picks up that kill.
Really nice roam by Phoenix there. The bot lane of Envy was shoving up relentlessly over the course of this early game. And Phoenix finally finds an opening to punish that aggression. GCU having a great early game here, up to a 3,000 gold advantage now. Not much working on the side of Envy.
Envy definitely looks like this early game the hardest one for them that we've seen so far. Almost 3,000 gold in favor of Gold Coin United. Ninja in this mid lane matchup getting a little bit bested here by Phoenix, finding his second win on this RE in game number 4. However, Envy not going to sit back and just stay quiet. Will respond by taking the first Drake of the game. Ocean Drake will be the first one that spawns for them. They take that one away.
Another advantage for Envy right there, finding some small advantage. We talked about how they've been having great Drake control so far. Keep that one up. Sarah's still stuck in this long lane though. Keeps getting bullied out by Solo.
You see the slice after the hook shot and the dice after Seraph runs away. Chasing down on Camille underneath the tower. Lyra jumps in, but the dominance is just popped there. Turns on the Lyra, flashes forward. Solo with another kill in a 1v2. GCU not quite done. The Stranglethorns on the bottom side, and Santorin savagely rips apart Hakuo.
Lyra having a very bad performance this time around. Jumps in on the relatively healthy Solo, who is fed as well. Got that turret blood bonus gold. He's able to trade back on the Lyra, finishes him off. Hakuho gets caught out of position. Not synced up, obviously, with his jungler trying to get vision anywhere, and as a result gets picked off. And now Mash on this Jinx pick, if there's one thing it can do in the early game, it's push turrets.
Yeah, Jinx extremely good at doing that. Apollo in the meantime extremely good at getting jumped on by a Rengar. Super Mega Death Rocket does not find the kill, but a leap from Santorin secures that one. Sarah's teleported in. He will wind up picking up a kill onto Santorin as he shuts down that 2 kills, but Solo has responded and kind of flashed forward though from Seraph. Mad Life being locked up in the Hextech ultimatum. The heal will keep him alive, but it's a double kill picked up for the Camille, and now Envy are on the chase. They've caught on to Mash, and he's turned to dust. Ninja unleashes his power upon Jinx. The hook shot now going down onto Solo, but he dices away. Phoenix is able to answer the trade kill in the mid lane, but 3 quick kills picked up by Envy.
A 3-for-1 trade, and as well as protecting their bot lane turret. I like the idea for Santorin going in here. Both teleports channel around the same time. You sort of need to leave Santorin here to the Wolves, given the fact that they don't have vision on Lyra or Ninja at this point. Solo and Mad Life walk forward. And I like this aggressive flash ultimate by Seraph here. The minion wave is dying, so you know that someone on the enemy team is going to pull that turret aggro. It's not going to be easy for them to turn on and focus down onto you. And because Mash wants to finish that turret off, he sticks around long enough for Ninja to get in range to finish him off. So GCU getting a little bit greedy with that bot lane force there. Not the end of the world, but a really important find there by Envy because they were slipping out of this game.
Yep, the hook shot comes out from Seraph, but there's a 2-level advantage for Solo, a level 2 dominance, and there's no mobility left from Seraph. Solo goes left, goes right, still picks up the kill, tanks through the tower. That's gonna be another kill and another tower going down for GCU.
Love seeing Solo on this Renekton pick, having that extra early game bully potential. We saw him doing great with the Rumble last game, this time around, finally given the completely favorable matchup versus Seraph, and he's taken him apart so far. Finishes him off for his 3rd kill of the game there, as well as grabbing his 2nd turret.
3-0-0 on this Renekton for solo. 134 CS compared to the 93 of Seraph. It's even more the advantages than Apollo has over Mash. 135 compared to 107 on this Caitlyn Jinx matchup. Renekton had gone to the bottom lane to pick up that 3rd and final outer tower for the side of GCU, while their duo lane of Mash and Madlife, who are slightly disadvantaged right now, rotate up towards the top side to hold that one against the bottom lane push coming out from Envy, who have the duo lane push from Envy have rotated up to that top side as well.
GCU, it was a scary draft a little bit. We saw how smashed they were getting in the bot lane, but enough worked out between the jungle, mid, and top side to cover Jinx's early game weakness. And with that extra pressure that they had, it's only 20 CS down now. Slowly farming further into the game. Actually up gold overall versus Caitlyn, despite how disastrous that lane looked at just the 6-minute mark.
The interesting thing is this Jinx pickup, as you mentioned, the early game, extremely good at taking towers. Actually, all game, extremely good at taking towers. Not involved in a single tower kill yet.
Hard to do when you're getting shoved in constantly in the early game.
But now having a little bit of a breathing room, try to get through this early game. The Blade of the Rune King build coming out first. So the first completed item for Mash compared to his opponent in Apollo. But Phoenix now trying to look for a kill for himself. Gets snuffed out in the jungle. Uses the exhaust at the perfect time to mitigate the damage to the Unleashed Tower, but Seraph will be able to get the kill as Lyra collapses down solo. He's a big Renekton, but he is going to get shut down before he gets a trade kill. Super Mega Death Rocket will not connect with the intended target. It's 2 kills picked up for none.
Phoenix getting a little over-aggressive there. Caught out of position. Tries to dash back in to land the exhaust onto Ninja to negate some of that damage, because he can't dash out at this point and locked into the Hextech ultimatum there. Like the idea, but just too many people down there on the side. Envy, taking a look at that one. You see it start off with Seraph, jumps out of the charm, good ultimate there, and then good move by Phoenix, like I said, dashing forwards to get the exhaust onto Ninja. Not able to actually live through it because Lyra, who's the 3rd man involved in this fight, is able to pick up a couple of those kills, bring the last bit of damage needed to stop Seraph from, or Solo, excuse me, from potentially cleaning up a couple more kills.
Envy have been able to get a couple of response kills on the board now. The gold lead, only about 3,000 in GCU's favor before that trade-off kills. About 4,000 in their favor. Phoenix is going to be donated over a blue buff, whereas a Mountain Drake will be spawning in about 30 seconds. GCU, recognizing the fact that that objective may be something they want to do to try to push this advantage forward and break some of the inner towers. Having Mad Life and Mash back on the bottom side of the map, starting to ward up around that Dragon Pit area. Take control of the vision there. Meanwhile, Santorin secures Scuttle Crab on the top side. No Baron yet available, but still, they want to keep up the vision control. They want to keep up the pressure on the map. GCU's strength all throughout the Challenger Series has been their control of vision. And it looks like one of our favorite friends, Mark, the Rift Herald.
Let's go.
Being started up. This is something that Renekton specifically would love to have on his side.
Right, snowballing Renekton, one of the most powerful early game champions up on that top side, getting the best single neutral objective for an individual champion who wants to pressure a lot. Grabs that glimpse of the void. Gonna keep trying to pressure onto Seraph. And this game looking really similar to game 1, where GCU got a big lead early on, grabbed a lot of objectives with that. Envy made plays to slowly shrink the gold lead, but at the end of the day, GCU is too far ahead to really have that gap come mid-late game start mattering.
And Envy unable to contest either of those objectives going down, so a Mountain Drake picked up for the side of Gold Coin United, their first Drake of the game. Solo now with this Glimpse of the Void buff, going to be taking a little bit of reduced damage in these 1v1 situations. He has no allies around. He's going to be a little bit tankier thanks to that buff. Also going to be able to discharge a decent amount of damage when he stacks up to 100 Void stacks. With the Mountain Drake on his side, he's going to be able to unleash a decent amount of damage down onto those towers if he split pushes as well.
Split push will be the name of the game for Solo right now. It is a little hard for GCU to find too many openings. Envy doing a good job looking for vision, looking for picks. Right now they're going to look for another one onto Solo. Caught out in the 3v1.
Yeah, it's a 3v1 situation. A little bit more than the 2v1 that he's been able to turn around before. Still gets Seraph extremely low, but not able to wind up picking up a kill. They shut down the Renekton, but Phoenix waiting around in the brush. Wants to try to get a kill for himself, and Envy takes the safe way back from that.
So what we were just saying is that EnVyUs been doing a good job for the most part of finding places that they can control the vision and then make a play around there. You saw Phoenix sweeping out a little bit of vision on that top side, but did not have his jungler or support helping him get that vision control for his split pushing top laner. There's a path left unwarded. Now Mad Life on top of the ward.
Goes through. That's the flash away Stranglethorns after Hako going to flash 2, does not wind up landing there. Mad Life. Fancy footwork. Recall in an unsafe spot, though.
Wow, that was a little bit of a mistake by Hakuho there. Almost found another kill for his team. Just barely missed that Karma Q, and not being able to finish him off with that means the knockup comes in, can't keep chasing down. Mad Life able to get away, but GCU being a little sloppy in the mid game once again as EnVyUs the one actually making more plays.
NG still has the play-taking potential on their side, despite a relatively quiet early game from Lyra. He's not as far ahead on the Kazakhs as he was in game number 3. Not far ahead at all, he's not ahead. 1, 2, and 3 on this Kazakhs pickup here, but Seraph on the Camille, 4, 1, and 2, has completed the Trinity Force, has the Ninja Tabby for herself. May be able to start stacking up against Solo's Renekton relatively soon, but he has completed a Randuin's Omen on top of his own Ninja Tabby and a Black Cleaver, which means that he is still a full item up on this Camille on the head-to-head matchup, and still has that Glimpse of the Void buff. About 1.3k gold over the Camille in this individual matchup. GCU will still be trying to make advantages on the map because of Solo and his Renekton advantage and his lead. But what else are they going to be able to do with that pressure that he creates on the top side? It looks like they're going to be trying to group up around him, clearing out the blue buff area and contesting vision control and EnVyUs jump.
Yep, they're going for this blue buff seal. They grab that one, rotate up to Solo, who pushes in the minion wave. Gonna try and take this one down. Don't have the Jinx to help push it, but EnVy not quite in position to contest. They open up on the Solo, actually.
Yeah, they're gonna use the Hextech Ultimatum to lock Solo down. He's not quite in tower range, but he is stuck there, so he cannot dodge out on the stuns, and Syndra picks up a kill.
A little greedy, not using his ultimate right at the beginning there. Means he's stunned up and unable to pop it when the Syndra ult comes in. They blow him up. Once again, EnVy are the ones finding a kill. Now have actually equaled out the kill score. Gold lead still in GCU's favor, as well as the turret score.
Mash is clearing at the mid lane is Jinx, but we mentioned already, Jinx thrives in these 5v5 teamfight environments, thrives in the fact that she can be tower pushing, but because he was set behind so early on in the lane phase, maybe thinking that he's a little further behind than he actually is. You mentioned already that Jinx was ahead in gold of the Caitlyn. The Caitlyn has about 150 gold over the Jinx, so Caitlyn has kind of gotten those advantages back just through all of this farm, but Mash is going to be the one that needs to take down these towers. You mentioned early on, Jinx was being pressured in, but Gold Coin United was able to break those towers. But without the Jinx to provide that constant DPS against these inner towers, it's a lot harder for Gold Coin United to split push them down or do so when the Camille is starting to come online and when EnVy are grouping up together to defend.
Right, they weren't really able to keep forcing plays around their strongest members. Obviously, the Jinx has been held down for a large part of this game, but you had a really, really strong Renekton. And Phoenix was also relatively strong, and a few times that they try and group up for plays, they can't make them. Now Phoenix looking for a solo one.
Yeah.
Forces the flash out of Ninja, but gets low himself.
Speaking of relatively strong, Phoenix did try to go for that 1v1 kill, but Ninja was able to flash and cleanse away from it. Phoenix himself came out a little worse for the wear. Uses Spirit Rush, but took a decent chunk of damage and has to go back. They have sent Mashpee back to the top side of the map to continue pressuring this top lane, shove out those minions, pick up a little bit more farm. Bottom side of the map has been the Solo versus Seraph show, as the Renekton versus Camille match continues to clash back and forth on the bottom side. Baron buff has spawned on the map. 23 minutes into this game means that Gold Coin United may be looking to transition those vision advantages they were accruing on the top side of the map into vision advantage controls around the Baron buff area. But EnVy, they're no slouches in vision in the promotion tournament either. This has actually been something they've been relatively strong at controlling all throughout the promotion tournament, even though they find themselves in this last match on Sunday.
Yeah, I think for the most part during their first matchup even, EnVy was getting the better part of the vision war, but they just couldn't make the better decisions with that extra vision that they were getting. GCU was able to take that series. This time around, once again, EnVy, for the most part, having better vision. You see even from behind, finding these pickoffs over and over and over again, stabilizing the game. For the most part, it's still hard, obviously, when you have a fed Renekton, but he went from 3-0-0 to 3-3-0.
Yeah, not only that, but the gold front has closed from about what was a 4,000 lead a couple of minutes ago into about a 2,500 lead in the favor of Gold Coin United. So while we say EnVy, when they get gold advantages, they may have times they stall out. Gold Coin United, our criticism of them has been they play it slow, they play it calm and controlled, but sometimes they play it a little bit too slow, and they don't know when to turn it on and get more aggressive. At this point in time, their dwindling advantages from the early game. If EnVy are able to match up with them, and Gold United wind up falling behind, that could be their promotion tournament lives gone. They could be back in Challenger because of it.
Right, you see Solo getting low in trades versus Seraph. Talk about how this matchup favors Renekton. Eventually, it does get to the point where, as the health pool of the Camille starts to go up and up, and he starts getting a couple resistances, the Renekton does not have a great way of cutting through those, even with the Black Cleaver, whereas the Camille gets that true damage proc from her Q. Means that even as the Renekton starts grabbing resistances, she will keep her damage relatively unchanged against him. And during this, Santorin solos out the Dragon. EnVy takes control of the top side, knowing that Dragon's available, and are going to trade for their first turret of the game, grabbing the top outer.
Well, second Mountain Drake of the game goes in Gold United's favor, so while EnVy are able to get their first tower of the game on the top side, the 20% damage now belongs to Gold United, and with a third Mountain Drake in this game, Gold United have the potential not only to wait for that and take that extremely quickly, which will be about 6 minutes from now. They have a lot of Baron pressure. They have a Jinx with double Mountain buff, so that's going to be a tower-destroying machine. Gold United, while they are slowing down, are still accruing those advantages through objectives like Dragon, through vision control, through making sure that EnVy aren't getting any more of these random kills that they were getting just about 5 minutes earlier.
And if I might take a moment to have a small bone to pick with GCU's name, Gold United. It's a little tough to say when we talk about gold all the time in the game. You have to understand gold way too often. It'd be like if we named a team the Barons, and then we talk about how Barons using Baron power play.
That'd actually be pretty cool.
You think that's cool?
I would utilize that a lot. I would say every single time they got a kill in a team fight and they came out ahead, that was a Baron power play.
I guess we have different ideas are cool, Tom.
I just enjoy the small things in life, Mark. Let me have these things.
Those small things frustrate me.
All right. Well, you also did not identify the skins properly, and those things make me happy. So I'm not surprised you wouldn't like a team named the Barons or the Dragons. But Gold United are grouped up in the mid lane here. They were contesting the Baron pit area, but it looks like they are just going to be continuing to shove waves back and forth. A lot of them grouped up in this area here. Even Solo's Renekton has joined them in this fray. Looks like they might be trying to catch on to Seraph. Has to flash away from the Flame Chompers. Santorin will leap out from that brush, but Seraph using the hook shot to get away.
Santorin, excuse me, should have waited for that hook shot to land. Wait, hold off on your jump, and then use that to gap close. Instead, he gap closes to where Seraph used to be because his hook shot connects on the wall. Maybe could have turned that into a kill if he was a little bit more patient with his jump there. Doesn't end up doing so. Solo losing out on some CS on the bot side right now. Has been grouping up with the team a lot. Now they're going to try and use this, like you mentioned, the 20% extra Q damage to burn down the Baron buff.
Bit of a brute force between Renekton, Rengar, and Jinx. They are burning through this one, but EnVy has grouped up. Ninja on the front side, Seraph on the back side. He's trying to cut in on the mash. It looks like the Stranglethorn's gone down to zone it out. Phoenix, in the meantime, has picked up Seraph. The Baron's about 1,800, but they've peeled off of it. No, they decide to go back to it. It's a little bit of a split decision-making. They've killed one, but they're about to lose their front line. Solo goes down. Lyra is now going to be the target from GCU. Both of these teams are traded 1 for 1. They were hesitant to commit, and GCU have to back away.
This is what we talk about when the team actually contests a Baron buff. You get into those tough decisions. Do you stay on it or do you peel off? GCU decide to stay on it way too hard. They could have peeled off and potentially gotten way more kills. You saw them re-aggro the Baron as Santorin was getting ulted. He has no way to walk in and try and contest for a smite, so they can't finish that down. Here you see Solo and Santorin trapped in the pit, Seraph zoning away. As opposed to everyone looking to get kills, here Phoenix goes in, no one else backing him up. Solo and Mash re-aggro this Baron, but Santorin's too low to walk up for a smite there. He'll go down. Very fortunate for them that they were able to keep fighting here. End up with just a 1 for 1, and Baron starts healing back up, so EnVy can't leash it. Make sure its health stays low and then go for a smite.
During that replay, we saw that EnVy had pushed up towards the mid lane and equalized the turrets trades now, so 3-3. Gold United's gold advantage is gone. It is dead even in gold, dead even in kills, dead even in towers. The only advantage GCU has left over is that second Drake.
And it feels so weird to talk about this game state for GCU as we're watching the game slip out of their hands and still say this is good for them, given that we know EnVy tends to lose games in this circumstance, as well as the fact that GCU has the extra Mountain Dragons on their side. A little bit of a cute bait there by Mash.
Cheeky.
Knows that there's some vision on the Rift Scuttler, but they don't know about the Baron, so he shoots it just wide of the Baron, making them think they started it off, but baits out a blue trinket. That's what you want to do, actually, is work out the vision resources available on the team who's trying to face check the Baron buff. that bait, even though it didn't get a kill, you can still say was reasonably successful because it forced out that blue trinket. Now GCU still baiting around there, no trinkets available. EnVy are going to have to walk up eventually.
Well, Seraph has already made his way up from the bottom side where he was split pushing with his Titanic Hydra completed. But GCU have Phoenix in the mid lane trying to clear out some waves, but he's kind of cut off from the rest of his team who is waiting in that dock rush. They land a double root and they dash and slash forward onto Lear, trying to eviscerate the jungler, and they will. Mash in the meantime is barely going to stay alive through the unleashed power. Seraph in the front is locked down onto Santorin, but he's going to wind up going down as Phoenix picks up a kill. Solo on the backside is trying to deal with Ninja. Madlife throws down a plant to try to help him out. A flash away is going to keep Solo alive, so they picked off 2 for 1, but both junglers are dead.
Very scrappy bait there by GCU. Smart face check on the side of EnVy, but Madlife lands a really nice double root to really set that fight up. You see, they see that one coming. The double root locks up Lyra and Hakuho. Phoenix is coming around the backside. Good flash out by Apollo to not get hit by that. Santorin goes over the wall. Mash barely lives through Ninja's burst. And then Santorin is getting very, very low here. And Phoenix gets a little bit greedy with his exhaust. Doesn't blow it until Santorin's basically already dead, and Apollo can finish that kill off. And Solo having to flash out at the very end there, ends up in a 2 for 1, almost a 2 for 2. Mash just barely managed to stay alive.
Yeah, Mash lived with about 20 HP through that unleashed power coming out from Ninja's Syndra. So even though Goldcoin United are able to win the battle, they have still yet to win the war over the Baron buff area. So they kind of find themselves back at square one because of how low everybody had gotten in that fight. The fact that Santorin did wind up going down meant they had no jungler to seal the deal on that objective. Now there is a third Mountain Drake on the map. EnVy do not want to give this one up to Goldcoin United because they get into a Baron bait situation again. That'll die really quick. Phoenix is going to get tagged up here with the ace in the hole. Has a Spirit Dash out, but Spirit rushes back forward to trade some damage on the Seraph.
Right, but that gets rid of a lot of team fighting power of an Ahri champion. Or the Ahri pick, if you're able to get her ultimate out, that's how she finds those angles on the back lines. And by doing that, EnVy secures themselves their first Mountain Drake of the game, catching up a little bit to GCU's. Last elemental dragon of the game. The next one will be the Elder Dragon. And they tie up the overall dragon count as well, 2-2.
2-2 on those objectives, 10-9 on kills, and 3-3 on towers. Goldcoin United find themselves on the receiving end of about a 700 to 800 gold advantage, which, if you remember, about 20 minutes in this game was a 4,000 gold advantage. So EnVy shoring up some holes in their mid game, closing the gap in this game. They have had the Camille, who in the split push threat is more effective than the Renekton at this point in time. Their Caitlyn is also pretty much getting over the hill of her mid-game plateau, now on about basically 3 items of the Zeal and the Last Whisper picked up for herself. We do have the Leandri's Torment, the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and the Morella Namicon picked up for the Syndra coming out from Ninja, who's going to be able to provide a ton of damage for their side. Zanya's Hourglass for Phoenix on top of the Luden's Echo means that he has a bit of itemization on his Ahri as well. Double Black Cleavers picked up for the side of Goldcoin United. A fight could be explosive around this Baron pit. We've seen it happen 2 or 3 times before. GCU lives for the same bait, trying to lock on the Lyra. It's not going to land this time. But Phoenix on the opposite side, chunk it down on the Seraph. Redemption's getting used. The Zanya's Hourglass cancels out the Hextech Ultimatum, but Solo's getting locked up. Seraph's going forward too, but a Flash Charm lands on the Seraph. They don't have any follow-up damage, though. Goldcoin United are peeling back.
Nice individual play there by Phoenix, but can't actually net himself a kill with it. This game is riding on a razor's edge right now. So many close team fights, and whoever is going to be able to decisively win this first one will likely be able to claim the Baron as well in the first massive gold lead in this late game.
Back and forth these Baron baits go, back and forth the minion waves go. Seraph now on the bottom side of the map, clearing out the minions that have pushed up down onto EnVy's side. At the same time, Seraph has his teleport available, but the vision has been cleared out by Goldcoin United from that bait. They're trying to rush down this Baron buff. 5,000 HP. EnVy are trying to chase after Madlife, who is leading them to the Baron buff, which has already been taken by GCU. They utilize the advantages they gained from that fight before, which is the vision control, and immediately go back to rush down that Baron while Seraph was away.
EnVy had done such a good job contesting these Barons for so long. They reset there off the map and open themselves up to a free Baron that GCU grabs. Now they're potentially caught out of position.
Solo's going to get locked up here. Seraph and the tether chain coming out from Hakuho. He has to pop his dominance, but Seraph takes a lot of damage as well. There's a wall in between most of the members of both sides of this fight. Super Mega Death Rocket lands, deals a little bit of damage to Apollo, but the inside track here is gained by Goldcoin United over towards the base of Envy. Santorin using the Thrill of the Hunt, kind of using it as a zoning ultimate and tracking where everybody from Envy side is going to be. Goldcoin United have taken one top lane tower, can't quite finish off the inhibitor tower. Oh, Phoenix actually going to ace in the hold up, jumped on by Lyra, but he is forced back as he groups up with the rest of the team.
Envy are able to protect their base. The inhibitor turret doesn't drop. A little bit of a scary situation there as GCU might have been pinning themselves against the base of Envy, but they are able to land enough chunk. But Envy's not done yet. They're still chasing down. Seraph
re-engages. He's dropping low. Uses the Hextech ultimatum to dodge out on some damage and locks up Solo, who on the front line will go down. Killing spree picked up for Ninja. Envy gets charmed up here, Lyra, but they are going to wind up having GCU forced back.
Good punish by Envy there. Able to pick up one kill on the retreating GCU. Does not look like they're going to look for any extra objectives off of it, but taking off a Baron buff from a split-pushing Renekton, who has a teleport advantage, is a little bit of an objective on its own.
Very true. So Solo already disadvantaged now against the Camille in the split push. Will not have the Baron buff to push up these minion waves. Seraph has his Guardian Angel already, so he knew by going for that engagement, if he wind up dying, as long as he trades his Guardian Angel for a kill, it works out fine. He even gets out ahead in that one by not popping his Guardian Angel. It's now Goldcoin United. 4 Baron buffs left on their team. It's not a bad idea, not a bad position to be in, but they don't have their split pushing threat with one. They have to stay grouped up, and Envy has been going toe-to-toe with them in a lot of these contestings, a lot of these 5v5 fights. As you mentioned, this is kind of on a razor's edge at this point.
Yeah, I thought for sure the Baron was going to go after a big team fight, but Envy had lost position on it, gave it away for free, and as a result, the gold lead slightly in GCU's favor, grabbing that Baron buff. But they're not actually able to really turn it into cracking the base or anything like that. Envy get that cleanup kill, and now it doesn't look like GCU are going to be able to use this Baron. Just a minute left on it, not quite grouped up anywhere in all 3 side lanes, trying to get them pushed in their favor so that they can instead focus down on the Elder Dragon next.
And there's only about a minute until that Elder Dragon does spawn. Coincides nicely with about the 39 or so seconds that Baron buff will still be available. So GCU can continue to push down the bottom and the mid lanes of this map. Continuing to apply ward control, map pressure, everything they need to potentially set themselves up for an Elder Dragon take. Envy on the opposite side, though, going to do everything in their power to try to stop that from happening. Ninja in the mid lane, split pushing up against Solo, as you do have Seraph kind of moving up towards that side to replace his mid laner, as that wave clear is needed on the bottom side of the map as Goldcoin United is grouped up 4 strong over here. Smash at this point on the Jinx, pretty big. Blast Whisper picked up for him to cut through some of this armor. He's got the Runon's Hurricane, the Blade of the Rune King from before, and has added an Infinity Edge to his inventory. So Jinx is online.
Late game Jinx, a little bit of a threat, but it's still really hard for him to get involved in these team fights. A lot of mobility and dive available for both team comps, and not too much protection. No one's going to throw a ton of shields on him and let him run wild the way you might see if he was paired up with a Lulu or Orianna. Instead, he's just hoping to play cleanup while his frontline divers are able to get a number of members on the side of Envy low.
Seraph's pushed up the mid lane to contest up against Solo, trying to push it back against them. Ace in the hole lands on the Mad Life as Goldcoin United look to potentially want to stir up on the Elder Dragon that has spawned. Be a little bit careful, though. They are in a position they could get collapsed on by Seraph coming from the top side. The rest of Envy coming from the bottom side. Baron power play. Wasn't the best one in the world. 1,826 gold. You get 1,525 from killing the Baron and giving it to everybody on your team. So Envy has done a really great job of mitigating the damage that they were able to provide from that Baron.
Right, and we see Envy having to go up and clear that massive top wave. GCU did a good job waiting for that.
Hakuo gets caught out and just melted down. The Stranglethorn's going to be picking up that kill. Seraph's teleported in, but the Dragon has gone over to GCU already, and that's going to be providing the aspect buff for massive damage. But a great stun comes out from Syndra, and they rip through Ahri. They're able to take down the Syndra, but Seraph's in the back line. He's killed the Jinx. Now Lyra's trying to join on that side, but the front line has killed the Caitlyn. Mad Life dropping down low. Lyra dropping down low. His Guardian Angel will get popped after the flash. Seraph has lost his Guardian Angel. Goldcoin United, they're going to pick up 4 kills for the price of 2, and they get the Elder.
Huge play by Phoenix there. He does go down the team fight, but he opens it up for the side of GCU, able to pick off Hakuho right at the start, and sets up the other members on the side of MV getting extremely low, so Santorin and Solo can come flying in on the back end of that fight, picking up a kill, and you get to see the difficult life of MASH there trying to 1v1 a Camille. Doesn't actually kill him, but gets him low enough that they're able to pop his GA. They get that cooldown. Seraph does get away, but they did finish off the Elder Dragon. They grab the bot inner turret.
GCU off the back of this Elder Dragon fight, taking objective. It all starts off by Hako getting charmed and rooted up.
They got a lot of residual damage there onto Apollo as well. He's still over the wall. Envy's still in a bad spot for contesting that. You see him now with the Infernal Elder Dragon burn, getting a lot of members of Envy very, very low. Solo goes aggressively over the wall with that flash, trying to get an angle onto the back line. Him and Santorin finish off Ninja. They also get onto Apollo, and they had to leave there. Jinx out to try and 1v1 the Camille, but overall, definitely a good trade. Ending up getting a 4 for 2.
The aspect of the Dragon burn, ticking away onto Lyra and taking him down. Do you see that Envy now has gotten additional towers? So they've gotten 4 towers. They pushed up into that mid lane, were able to take one down. 5 towers inside of Goldcorn United, and you can see in that fight, once the aspect of the Dragon buff really kicked in, the damage numbers from the side of GCU just eking out their opponents on Envy.
A very close team fight overall, though. Phoenix really did find a great opportunity to start that fight off. You see him highest damage numbers in that team fight. Trunked out multiple members of Envy, making it pretty easy for the rest of his front line to come in and clean up some kills. Now with that Elder Dragon, they're going to try and transition to another neutral objective, looking at the Baron buff here.
Aspect and double Mountain Drake means that they're going to be ripping through this Baron once they start it up. Blade the Rune King on Jinx, also going to provide a massive amount of damage. We can see they started it up. It's already at half HP before Envy even gets over here. There's a bit of a 50-50 situation. Lyra goes over the wall to smite steal, but Santorin's smite is secure, and the Baron goes over to GCU. The collapse coming out as MASH gets excited. He immediately dies, but they've eviscerated Ninja because of it as well, and Envy is all going down. And 4-kill fight for 1 in favor of GCU.
They force that Baron extremely hard. Lyra is in range to go for the contest. Even if he gets it there, it's not the end of the world. The side of Envy is wholly out of position, not grouped up in a good formation. As a result, you see Phoenix able to run wild once again in that team fight for the most part. Difficult life of MASH going down early in that team fight, but the rest of GCU able to carry it. Everyone dead for another 20 seconds. They don't have that Jinx to crush down these turrets and inhibitors, a little slower than they might want, but I think they have enough time to close out game 4 here.
I mean, they got Baron buff minions up with them. Santorin has a Guardian Angel, the Prophis, as he's tanking through some tower shots. Hako is here, but I don't think Soul Flare is going to be enough wave clear. Mark, we're going to a game 5.
You hope that Silver Scrapes.
Goldcorn United tying up the series 2-2. Envy tried to cut down onto MASH's champion pool. They tried to corner GCU in the draft phase, but GCU come out ahead in the early game, stall it a little bit in the mid game, but resurge in the late game through those objective control.
It's actually a very close mirror to what happened in game 1 this time around. GCU grab a lot of early kills off the back of Santorin playing pretty well. We see with that advantage, they get about a 4,000 gold lead, stall out in the mid game. Envy claws all the way back to the point where they're even in the game. And then they get a little lackadaisical around the Baron. They give one up for free. And that was really the catalyst that we saw for the rest of the game, because with those extra powered up minions, they're able to get the push in their advantage. They force Envy into a weird way to contest the Elder Dragon buff. And then Phoenix is able to make a great play to win them that fight, and then soon after that, they transition that Elder Dragon buff now back up to the respawn to Baron.
And all that was gained through incremental advantages. We talked about how Goldcorn United, they don't blow a game wide open. They take an advantage, and they put wards down. They make you come at
and
weird
then they
angles.
lose that advantage.
They lose that advantage, but then they gain it back a little bit, and then sneak a Baron in there because there was a fight beforehand where they kept control of their wards and are able to take that down. But Goldcorn United shown they definitely got some chops for us in this game 5.
Yeah, but I need to think they look, I need to take another look at that draft, because I did not like what happened to MASH. You saw even in those late game team fights that they were winning, he was just dying all the time in them. I think they maybe got a little bit exploited, but they were able to stabilize off their good early play.
Well, if you want to take a deeper dive, I know some guys who know that. So a deeper dive on how GCU tied up this series, let's send it on over to the analyst desk.
Thanks, Tom. We got a swim
We
caps
love diving.
on.
Yep,
Yeah,
the dive.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you let me in on the party one day. Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'll even high five you. Like in the promo. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right,
Meet
we
up
go
for
over
it.
here. You and me. All right, Isaiah, let's talk about this. Hey, a good win for GCU. Of course, ties it up 2-2 now. And I mean, we have the champ select graphic up here. Jinx bot lane. I like the champion. Clearly did not do much Had a hard time
Got
in lane.
blasted in
little bit.
the lane phase. And
Is that a Zale? Excuse me, Kobe?
Yeah.
Whoa! Excuse me.
I personally I do
Your
like
time to
Jinx
shine.
It is. It always is. It is. But I mean, I don't really mind the pick. What I don't like, and what I talked about in the draft, is that there was no supporting cast kind of for the Jinx. There's no, no Janna, no Nami, no Soraka, like something, no Karma, no Lulu, something to buff you up to help you survive in these team fights. Because having lifesteal is great, and being able to get these resets and stuff is great, but they have so much front-loaded burst to be able to take him down in the fights with Syndra, with Kha'Zix, with Camille. It's like he never got to get to the point where he can actually do something in the fight, and I just think that the pick doesn't usually work without that.
Yeah, it felt like the idea from what I was seeing is they're trying to find something self-sufficient. Ironically, Jinx is not really that easily, but it's like Caitlyn's gone, Ezreal's gone, Varus is gone, like all these safe long-range picks. It's like, well, you can toss on a global ultimate. It's like a bot lane gangplank, just toss R into a team fight, you can lose lane.
No one is going to get this unless they were watching yesterday and today.
Okay.
Freak loves inside jokes that nobody will get.
Yeah.
You got it, you laughed. All right, so, but you're right. Like trying to self-heal the Rune King obviously wasn't quite enough for them, but it was top lane who was winning. It was Solo having a lot of good moments in the first half of the game. He started out 3-0 on the Renekton, counterpicks the Camille, worked out for him.
Right. This is one of my favorite plays where he pulls off the 2v1 versus Lyra, who's been hanging around top lane for so long, trying to gank for Seraph. Finally gets in there for the 2v1. He's cutting. He gets him low enough in his own minion wave that Seraph has to flash away. Then he canceled that auto that Lyra had in the air by flashing out of vision into the brush. If you can break vision, then you can actually break melee abilities or auto attacks like that.
Right.
And you can see Lyra he knew it was coming. He tried to ward right after him to get a ward in the bush. But even if you get it in the bush, which he didn't, it's really hard to actually have that reaction time to preemptively get there so your auto attack will continue.
Yeah,
Regardless, though, it was a really good auto attack break that was very close as far as the fight that actually occurred, and he pulled off the 2v1. Then he snowballed to a really beefy 3-0 Renekton until he started going for 1v3s and gave up a bunch of successive kills that allowed EnVy to get back in the game, which is why it took so long.
Yeah, I mean, it looks from the start like this was going to be a smash, right? Mid lane goes wrong, and they get a kill there. It's a 1v2 in the top lane. Renekton's massive, mid lane's ahead. This should have been a pretty cut and dry game, but they did throw quite a few back. Still a very good performance, I think, from Solo overall.
Yeah, and then at the end of the game, we did have basically a game-winning team fight. It's around the Elder Dragon. The thing is, I thought this was a bit of a throw by Team EnVy because Hako gets picked at the very start of it, and they're like, all right, let's TP in, let's fight the 4v5 without a support against Elder Dragon Burn, let's go.
I think it's one of those situations where teams are like undervaluing where they are in the game. It's like they feel like, hey, if we give up this Elder, we just lose, so they have to fight for it. But I really don't believe that was the case, and a 4v5 like this is so hard to actually win.
Especially if you are committed to, okay, we can't give up this Elder or we lose the game, whether that's right or wrong, if you're taking that as your given, you have to go earlier. They don't give themselves enough buffer as far as the health on the Elder Dragon. By the time they actually commit and get around into position, it's already been smited. It's already dead. So not only are you fighting your 4v5 that Freak is advising against, but you're also doing that into an Elder Dragon team, which is what caused the burn on Lear there.
Right.
Proc his GA in the end, and he dies as well. So like, a lot of the late game things that we're used to talking about for EnVy still are there. This time, though, they definitely had an opportunity early on as there were some mistakes from Gold Coin United. So this game 5 is going to be super, super heated.
And at least for EnVy, the positive takeaway from them is that they started off behind and they kind of made it a reasonably close game, because traditionally, if they don't get a massive lead, they just crumble completely. And Gold Coin, they do get a good game out of Phoenix here, right? That is something that's pretty big as well, because we needed to see him get going. And coming off this Ari game, he was successful. He put out a lot of damage, one lane. Maybe he can use that as some momentum to have a big game 5 and close it out for Gold Coin.
I think they're going to need to.
I think they do too. I mean, you look at what's happening here with EnVy, and even in the games they lost, in game 1 and in game 4, minute 20 to 35, the gold is going back their way. And in the games they won, it just up and to the right the whole way through. It feels like EnVy are out macroing GCU, right? They are playing better overall as a team, and it's a snowballed early game, and then a Baron sneak, or like a failed Elder Dragon stop. Like those are the only reasons it feels like GCU is winning, and they're fluking into 2 game wins. It feels like to me.
Well, I think fluking is a bit too strong personally because they're playing around some of the weaknesses that Envy have, right? Maybe you can't make these Baron sneaks and Elder plays and stuff against TSM or whatever, but they're not playing TSM. They're playing Envy. They were 10th place for a reason, and it's because they have a lot of these deficiencies that you can sometimes prey on.
Yeah, they talked about that being one of the pillars of their game plan against Envy. Yep. Just try and get past the early game without the 10,000 gold deficit.
Yep. Well, we'll see that happens. Of course, we are going up to Game 5, so don't go anywhere because it's one final game that decides who's going to be into or back into the North American LCS. Let's get a healthy serving of Silver Scrapes. See you soon. Eat up.
God.
Oh shit, you give him already?
You give him with the dot and the capital R.
Capital and a period.
Oh,
Done.
it's disgusting. Looking at
That means business, dude.
That's the business ready.
Yeah, nobody's talking after that. They're like, oh shit.
Solo slices and dices, locks up Lyra and Seraph in a 2v1 situation. Solo gets the kill.
I'm running.
Kom godt tilbake. Sånn. Nice, I no flash.
Super. Nice. Nice.
Nice. Keep this on, keep it going.
Keep finishing it, finish it. And then fight after.
Keep going. Kapper, J1. Kapper.
I'm coming. I'm going back line. I'm going killer. Push bottom after. Cinder. Hey, go Caitlyn. I flash.
I'm Caitlyn.
Kill Kate.
Nice. Kill Mill. I hit him.
Save him.
We can end.
Push mid. Good shit, guys. Good shit.